There is not secret formulas to deal with high complexity social transformation or organizational transformation. There is not secret formula. They are not just one model to deal with. So you have to keep yourself open to learn how to deal with change.
Welcome to The Way Change Works, the podcast from the Association of Change Management Professionals. I'm your host, Greg Voller. Our show features global leaders telling stories about creating lasting and meaningful change in organizations, communities, and lives. These stories reflect our belief at ACMP that beyond the technology, processes, and structures that are key elements in our profession, true change is only possible through the positive transformation of human behavior and beliefs. In this episode, I'm talking with Gabriela Prado, founder of the Change Lab in Chile, South America. As experts in applied change management, the Change Lab helps organizations quickly adapt by installing change in their DNA. They define themselves as a lab because they believe in the value of experimentation and learning as key aspects of fulfilling their purpose. Gabriela discusses how she and her team brought about a significant culture shift at their client, Vida Security. Vida provides financial and asset protection insurance to over 600,000 customers in Chile and throughout the world. The challenge for the Change Lab team was to assist Vida with a cultural transformation that strengthened collaboration, customer focus, new practices, and compliance. And this change initiative was undertaken to help Vida achieve its main goal of increasing profits by 50% over 5 years.
Vida Security is a financial company that provides financial and asset protection insurance. And they have more than 6,000 insurance. And also they have more than 5,000 employees. And it has national and international participation. So they are most of the companies are located in Latin America.
Tell us a little bit high level, what were some of the most significant challenges that you encountered when you first started working with this organization? What were they challenged with overall?
Okay, there were many challenges, but one of the main challenges at that time, there was a lot going on. I think for everyone, but specifically for this company, and because we are located in Chile too, so there was a lot going on during this period. People were saturated by changes for internal and internal reasons. It was for our country was the period of time of the Chilean protest, known in Chile as the estallido social, and also it was the beginning of the COVID pandemic. So it was a lot going on, and this organization was going through a very transformational process too, and they have they were looking for some specific and very challenging goals to achieve in terms of their results. So it was a lot going on.
When you started to see those challenges, what were some of your first actions, first ways of really kind of starting to work with the client, really to start to build that relationship of trust and how you move forward?
I'm pretty sure that one of the main actions that made a difference in that time was building a very connected team with the HR department. We just became to build one team with them. I mean, we were not the providers and they were not the clients. We just decided to go for one team. And when I said that, it means that you have to build trust. You have to build in a short period of time. You have to be able to build a team, and it's not easy because we were just going virtual most of the time. We were not able to meet in person. So yes, one of the main challenges that we had, and we have so much fun with this team that when we finish the project, we kind of miss each other. So we stay connected for a long time.
Is there anything that you learned along the way that you wish your client had known from the onset?
So one of the learnings that we have from the beginning, because at the same time we were working with other companies in other transformation. So what it makes a difference, it was how the HR department was very close to the CEO. They have a strategic partnership with the CEO and all the executive of the first level. So they were doing such a good job in that. So for us, it was so much easier to have an open communication with the first level, because the HR department was located or was considered as a strategic partner.
How did you tackle that? How do you really start to tackle that in working with the human resources team first and connecting with the CEO? How do you really break through there, Gabriela, to really say, here's how we can make an impact and create momentum for the organization?
I think it was not a secret formula at all. We were able to connect with the company culture, and we were just able to co-create with them too. I mean, we were asking the people how they were dealing with change, how they were understanding the change. So this readiness to change, it was building together. It was not that we have, as the Change Lab, the secret formula at all. We were just applying some main principle from the discipline of creative problem solving, that you don't have the answers. Everyone can contribute to the way of dealing with change.
That's awesome. All right, so Gabriela, as you're getting into this work, what types of resistance were you seeing? Was it a fuzziness about the future, and really couldn't see really what that future would look like? Was it potentially something like not aligned with where the leadership team is going? Maybe was it something about the history of change, within Vida in prior years, and maybe however that worked? Maybe it was a part of the culture that was holding back the opportunity. So what were examples of resistance that you were seeing as you came into this opportunity?
Okay, I got it. So one of the resistance that we found at that time was the business as usual and change initiative at the same time. It is not easy for an organization to go both ways, because actually, specifically, I remember something that one of the main resistance that I remember at that time was the sales force, the people, the executives. They were dealing with achieving their goals because it's related to the money that they get paid. And at the same time, they have to learn new ways of selling or doing stuff. And it is not easy. I'm just giving you an example, but most of the companies, they have a big challenge dealing with business as usual and going through new initiative or new ways of doing things at the same time. I think that was one of the main resistance that we found. And one of the other resistance that we found at that time was that in some way to learn new things that was pushed by this organizational transformation, they have to learn how to collaborate in a more frequent and more daily basis activities. So it was not easy.
Yes, very good. So let's talk about each of those a little bit more in detail. So the first example of resistance, as you were describing it, is how do you balance a business as usual focus while at the same time, bringing forward change activities, change requirements, if you will, within that. And again, so many of us in our audience, we deal with that on a daily basis. And it all gets down to some degrees, the role clarity that individuals have. So what was your approach then to helping Vida Security improve that, to drive that role clarity more so as these changes were emerging in their organization?
Okay, at that time, we took some decisions with the HR department and also with the executive. We told them to kind of to decide or to prioritize
Yes.
some of the participations and the people that were engaged on the change initiative, because it was too hard for them to go the both way at the same time. So we kind of pushed them to the side and to prioritize their times, their activities, their roles, because it was not possible to go both way at the same time with all the challenges that they had. And they took some decision, they prioritized about it, and it was not easy though.
So is it fair to say then, Gabriela, you and your team, you're there as an advisor, you're there as a coach, you are not just encouraging, you're absolutely recommending that, you know, prioritization and decisions need to be put in order to really help drive role clarity. Tell us more about how you do that. How you really ignite those types of conversations so that organizational leaders can apply that type of an approach?
Okay, so I think in this project specifically,
Yes.
one of the main strategic we apply was involving the first level.
Love it. Mm-hmm.
It was and it was so much fun, because when we start at the beginning, they say, okay, we have to go fast because we don't have time enough, we have to go. But after we have the first session with them and we build our case of change with them and what was the main purpose of this change, and they connect the motivation with the strategical, and they were involved in the whole process. They were actually asking us to have more sessions with them, because they value the time of thinking about the change and learning how to facilitate change with their team. So involving them to co-create, to co-design, to build together the way of dealing with change was key for us.
You mentioned that HR was very much an ally for you as you went forward, and it allowed you to have more and more conversations with the senior leaders of the team, of the organization, excuse me. Were there any other parts of the organization that then also became an ally for you in this journey as well too, Gabriela?
Oh, I will say that because of the high involvement of the first level during the process of change, there were many allies, like as you said, because you know, when you are going through organizational transformation, first you go to one area and then it takes to the other. So it's kind of hola, we say in Spanish, like the first hola, the second hola. Have you heard that before?
No, but I love that. I think it needs to be part of our change language going forward. Love it, love it.
So it comes from the agile language. So so because of that, we have so many allies, and it was not just one, because we were very careful about understanding what they were dealing with, and we were never pushing them in order to take our vision of how to deal with change. We were always listening, and we were always taking their pains and their challenge. So there were many allies. I wouldn't say that it was just one. The main one was HR, and actually we built a great team with them.
What were some of the outcomes and results then that were gained as a result of this whole of this process? What outcomes were gained?
Change management stopped being seen as the HR department's responsibility.
Awesome.
Because it was so great to see that leaders were applying what they learned about the role of facilitating change for their teams. So it was great to see that the HR department start being as a facilitator of change. So people were asking them for help. They were asking them for skills to develop, and And also, I specifically for Vida Security, one of the main change that they have, and they value that a lot, was they incorporate and they develop the capability of effective communication. It was a pain at the beginning of this process, but because we were able to co-create a new way of it is called the multiplier effect. Have you ever heard? Okay, we developed the multiplier effect of to improve their communication capabilities. It was a co-design with them as a way to develop this capability, and they incorporate new way of doing that, and they just keep doing it. It's their new way of communication.
As you think about the work that you and your team did for this organization, or Vida Security, what are one or two things that you are most proud of what you've contributed to that organization's success?
I'm very proud because we were working with some strategic consultant firms, and even they are everywhere and they are worldwide. We were able to contribute in a successful way.
Right.
We were able to complement our capabilities with their capabilities, and we were able to work together. And so there is so much to learn about how to incorporate the strategic point of view of the organizational transformation and the change part of, or the people side of change.
Wonderful. So Gabriela, in your experience now as a change leader, what would be one piece of advice that you would give to an individual who has responsibility for helping lead an organization? What is maybe one piece of advice you would give that individual that would help them effectively lead people in an organization that's going through change?
So there is not secret formulas to deal with high complexity social transformation or organizational transformation. There is not secret formula. They are not just one model to deal with. So you have to keep yourself open to learn how to deal with change. So the models, they help a lot to simplify all the complexity of reality, but they are not the reality. Look for models, look for formulas, but they will not apply exactly how they said they will solve your problems.
Okay.
So and you don't have to deal with change just by yourself. You have to you have to learn from others. You have to be open to not have all the answers.
To learn more about the work of Gabriela and her team at the Change Lab, check out its website at thechangelab.cl or its accounts on LinkedIn, The Change Lab LATAM, and Instagram, the.changelab. And to learn more about the Association of Change Management Professionals, especially our wonderful membership benefits, professional development offerings, and certification program, go to acmpglobal.org. If you're not yet a subscriber to The Way Change Works, please add us wherever you listen to your podcasts. And be sure to tell your friends about us as well. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you for leading how change works.